Hey guys, how we doing and how we feeling today? I'm your host Emilio Fernandez, and once again, this is the Pop and Bob podcast. Now, on this episode, we're gonna talk about and review Olivia Rodrigo's third studio album, You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. Okay, so in case you don't know who Olivia Rodrigo is, well, let me tell you. She's best known for smash hits like Driver's License, her debut single, and Vampire. Now, the genres of this album. So we have pop rock, which is by now synonymous with Olivia's music. There's also indie there, mixed in there as well. And we have also synth pop, I believe, for the first time in Olivia's music. Now, Dan Nigro is the sole producer on this album, I believe, and he has been with Olivia since the very beginning, ever since Driver's License. So moving on to now the singles that we've had. So we had the lead single Drop Dead, which was released this year, 2026, in April. Then we had The Cure, the second single, which was released in May, the following month. And the month after that, on the album release day, which was June 12th, we had the third single, Stupid Song. Okay, so the album is 13 tracks, roughly around 51 minutes long. So it's actually Olivia's longest album yet, so that's a good thing. You'll see in a bit why that is. Now, okay, so on to the album itself. So we start with the first track, Drop Dead, the first of my highlights as well on the album. This is both a strong opening track and lead single. The production is intriguing from the get-go, already sounding quite different from Olivia's past work, as this time around it's a synth pop track. By now the audience is used to hearing ballads and pop rock tracks from Olivia, so this song is her second ever love song following So American from the deluxe edition of her previous album Guts, and the deluxe edition was called God Spilled. So this is a welcome addition to her catalog, undoubtedly. So in this song, Olivia begins to tell the love story depicted throughout the album from the very beginning. She goes on about everything that went through her head after meeting this guy, now her ex-actor, Louis Partridge. From the butterflies she felt in her stomach with this newfound crush, to fantasizing about a potential relationship. So this is a notable change of pace from her previous two lead singles, Driver's License and Vampire, the tracks I mentioned at the beginning, which were heartbreak ballads that built up to an emotionally charged climax. Okay. So pretty interesting song to start us off. It's called Drop Dead. Pretty bold title if you ask me. Now, yeah, as I said, this is a pretty noticeable departure from what Olivia has done up until this point, because as I said, we were used to the previous two albums, which were Sour, the debut album, and Guts, the second album. Those two albums were pretty heavy on like the heartbreak of it all, hardships. It was pretty like mellow music, pretty, sad music, depressing even. So this song, when she gave us this song as a lead single, it was immediately like very different for her, because as I also said, it is a synth pop track. As soon as the song starts, you hear those synthesizers, and you knew that you were in for something for a new wild ride, if you will. And also the lyrical content is very like, yeah, like it's very different because we were used to, as I'm saying, ballads and pop rock tracks, but those pop rock tracks were also like, the lyrical content was also pretty like on the sadder note. So this song talking about love and like what do you feel after, during and after, well, like during the whole process of a first date, it is something new for her. Like, yes, we saw that, as I said, in So American, that track from actually the last track from the deluxe edition of Guts. That was the first time that she was talking about, like, it was the first time that she gave us a love song. I don't know if you can if you can count All I Want from the High School Musical, the series soundtrack from the first season of that show. I don't know if you can call that track All I Want a love song, maybe it is. But if we're talking strictly about Olivia's studio albums, like not counting her previous solo work before the debut album, then yes, this is the first time that she's giving us something like this. So it is a pretty nice change of pace. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting that she's talking about how she's beginning the love story of her relationship here. And by now, as I said, this relationship is over, sadly, but we're gonna get into the tea of that relationship as what Olivia told us through this album. It's pretty juicy. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, so this is the beginning of that love story, and I love a good old like start of a new love song type of song, like first date kind of song, and this is what that is. So yeah, pretty good stuff. Now, moving on to track number 2, Stupid Song, another one of my standouts on the album. So this is the third single, as I already said. This is an excellent romantic song, very fitting for rom-com soundtracks. Like I have actually seen, some time has passed now from the album release. So I've seen edits, very good edits, very well done about, like they use this song and put a lot of like clips from rom-coms and like, those type of series that are like love story series, TV shows. And yeah, like I really did enjoy those edits. So that's why I'm mentioning this. Now, the instrumentation, in this case, the electric guitars and drums, is spectacular here. And in this song, Olivia is head over heels for this new guy in her life. She has clearly entered the honeymoon phase, already claiming him as her boyfriend. So, pretty relatable song, at least. Well, I was gonna say at least I can relate to this song, but a lot of people can relate to this song because, I mean, who hasn't been in a honeymoon phase with someone? Like, even if you didn't get to the point where the relationship actually started, like officially started, a lot of us go through honeymoon phases. And yeah, they tend to be like, they're called honeymoon phase for a reason. It's a pretty like beautiful, like really lovey-dovey initial phase of like a pre-relationship, if you will. So yeah, like Olivia is really okay. I was gonna mention this a little later down the line of this episode, but I'm gonna say right now that the album, as I said at the beginning, is called You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. So this is this first half, I would call it the Girl So in Love first half. So this song, especially like, and a couple more songs from this house, as you'll see in a bit, are pretty great love songs. Like Olivia really got inspired. When has she not been inspired? I mean, it's Olivia Rodrigo, but yeah, like I really did appreciate what she did in this song. And yeah, as I said, pretty relatable. And yeah, like the song is saying like something along the lines of, I want you more than any stupid song would ever say. Like basically saying like no love song in the history of music can describe what I feel for you. Like that kind of love that I feel for you is it's pretty inexplicable. So to put that into a song is pretty remarkable, I would say. Now, track number 3, Honeybee, another one of my standouts. Olivia considerably slows things down with this chill track. In this song, Olivia is already picturing a whole lifetime with her new boyfriend. Sorry, really hoping that she never gets to see what he looks like when they're over. So, kind of well, yeah, it's a pretty straightforward song, but it doesn't make it any less interesting. As I said before on this podcast, there's nothing wrong. Like when I say that a song is pretty straightforward, lyrically speaking, like that has nothing to do with the quality of the song. It doesn't mean that the song is lesser. It's just that it's actually easier to get into. That's the good thing about it being straightforward. So yeah, like it's called Honeybee, and Olivia is really, really in love by the time of the song. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how this relationship progresses. So track number 4, Maggots for Brains, another one of my standouts. One of the strongest tracks on the album, at least on a personal level, I would say so. The production here is pretty top notch. And in this song, Olivia is starting to feel a bit codependent with her boyfriend, as she finds herself going off the rails whenever he's not around. So, okay, this song is talking about something very important when it comes to relationships: codependency. Like you should never ever feel or be codependent with your even if it's not your partner already, like with your, well, scratch that. I was confusing myself. Okay, so I forgot that at this point in the album they're already, an item, boyfriend and girlfriend. So yeah, but what I was gonna say is that if it was the case that, like in the case that two people are not are still not like officially a couple, then yeah, the more the reason that you shouldn't be codependent with them. But also, at any point in the relationship, you should never be codependent with your significant other, because we all should be very individualistic. I don't know if that's a word, but like very particular. Like we should all know how to be by ourselves. That's a really important thing to be able to do, because I mean, at the end of the day, you can't be 24/7 with this person. So you have to be able to go on about your day by yourself when you're not with this person. So yeah, Olivia is pretty codependent in this song with her boyfriend. So yeah, I mean, and she's talking about like how she's feeling off whenever he's not around, and that's a pretty bad sign as well. Like you should be able to, as I'm saying, you should be able to just like live life and be able to carry on your everyday tasks and responsibilities and everything that you have to do in your day-to-day. You should be able to do all of that by yourself. Like plain and simple, just you shouldn't have to feel like unstable or off whenever you're not with your significant other. So yeah. Now, track number 5, you plus me equals a heart or a love, however you wanna call it. In this song, Olivia talks about how her friends are advising her to take this relationship slow this time, unlike how she navigated her past ones. She, on the other hand, firmly believes that she's healing her wounds with her boyfriend and is convinced that he's the one for her. So, this track title is pretty on the nose. I mean, the title is You Plus Me Equals Love or Heart. So, yeah, my girl here, Olivia, she's really knees deep in this relationship. And you have to be careful with this kind of thing because, I mean, love is wild like that. Like, it can be very powerful. Obviously, like, you get carried away, as Olivia is expressing in the song. You get carried away sometimes with love, and you like lose track of yourself, lose control, and your emotions overpower you. So you have to be able to like handle yourself and not let this like overtake you like that, you know? Now, track number 6, My Way. Now, the average listener might not get the production on the initial listen, but it can grow on them after hearing it a couple more times. And in this song, Olivia is standing on business and letting a certain girl know that no one can break her and her boyfriend apart, no matter how hard she tries. So, okay, here we're getting to like the nitty-gritty of this album, because here is where the problems are starting. The honeymoon phase is over, and now Olivia is faced with adversity in this relationship. And I mean, it always happens. So, yeah, like she's at this point now in the relationship, and yeah, basically there's a girl that is standing in their way, and Olivia is like, hey, she's letting this girl know that you can't get in between us. We have a pretty strong thing going here. So yeah, like just move out of the way. You're in my way. And please remove yourself from this situation, because you don't want to be you don't want to mess with me. You don't want to be a problem for me later on. So just do everyone of us a favor and just like step out, you know? Okay, so track number 7, Purple. By now, purple has become Olivia's signature color. This was especially noted with, like very obviously noted with her first 2 albums, because the Sour cover was light purple, like the background was light purple, and the Guts background color was a darker purple. And at the time after she released Guts, I for one thought, and I'm sure many other people thought as well, like, okay, she did her first 2 albums with different shades of purple, like is she gonna continue this like pattern of like assigning a different shade of purple to each of her albums? But at the same time I thought, like, okay, but maybe that can be her thing, but also that can grow pretty tiring for a lot of people, because having so many colors out there, you, like, if I was an artist, for example, I would go the route of exploring the different colors, like choosing each like standard color for each of my eras, and then when I've used all of them, I would like, okay, I've used all of them, now what is next to do? If I get to do that many albums, then I would delve deeper into all the colors and use different shades of each one. And that's how you do it. There's nothing wrong with repeating colors as long as it's not the same shade of the color. Like, just use different ones because there's a lot. So at least Olivia did that with the first two albums. But I really loved that this time around with the third album, instead of going with a different shade of purple yet again, she went with pink. And I thought that it was gonna be like a pink background, but rather than that, it was like the pink in the cover was her outfit, and like the actual background was like light blue. It was sky blue, literally sky blue, because it was like the background, it wasn't this, like you could see the sky. And I love that the cover, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw it, I was taken a little aback because it's not what I pictured. I didn't think that she was gonna be like upside down, which reminded me of Sweetener and Thank You Next by Ariana Grande. But I came around to it shortly after, like, and I grew to love this cover because she's like upside down. Olivia's upside down, and she's like on a swing set. She's on a swing set. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Now going back to this track, so. As I was saying, this track bridges the gap between the album's two halves. The Girls So In Love first half, and the You Seem Pretty Sad second half. And I would say that I think I saw this, I read this somewhere, that the cover is a mix of pink and sky blue, because the pink represents, pink is one of the colors of love, universally speaking. So I read somewhere that, and it makes sense, that pink represents the first half of the album, which is love themed, and the sky blue represents, the sad part, the sadness of it all. So the second half. So yeah, it all makes sense now. And in this song, Olivia tells us that the honeymoon phase of her relationship is now over, as the couple is going through their first fights. The vividness of the relationship is now starting to fizzle out as Olivia begins to see the sad undertones she was probably trying her hardest to ignore. Instead, she opts to remain with her rose-colored lenses on for as long as possible. And this thing of rose-colored lenses goes pretty well with the whole like pink coloring of the first half of the album, which we now passed by. So yeah, I mean, at first when I saw that there was a track titled Purple, I thought like, okay, maybe she's gonna talk about the significance of the color purple for her. Well, little did I know that it was gonna be something even deeper than that, because it turns out that, well, it was a theory that I read, something like that it's purple because if you like mix these shades of pink and blue, you get like some kind of purple. So, and it also symbolizes like Olivia and this guy, like, becoming one, but at the same time they become one, and everything of each of them starts to blend together, so it creates something new. But that something new has like a dark like undertone to it. So yeah. Now, track number 8, The Cure, another one of my standouts. So the acoustic guitar in the beginning builds towards a more explosive finale that incorporates drums, making the track very dynamic. And in this song, Olivia talks about how she thought that being in a relationship would make her problems go away. But in reality, the only person that can cure all that is herself. So this track should serve as a lesson for a lot of us, because I could say that I've also thought that being in a relationship would make my problem, like not all my problems, but make most of my problems go away. But obviously, that's not the case at all because, as I'm saying, and as Olivia realized with the song, no, there's no relationship ever that can like do that. Like it doesn't work like that. So it takes yourself, oneself, to just take a look at everything, like at the situation, at your situation, and say, okay, so my relationship, and in the case of the song, a relationship that is not like very strong at the moment to begin with, but no relationship, even if it's like on a really good term, no relationship can cure you of your problems. Like you're the only one that can do that for you. You're the only one that can fix your problems, and you're the only one, you're like your biggest cheerleader. So it's up to you to fix what needs to be fixed in your life. Now, track number 9, Begged, another one of my standouts. A stunning acoustic guitar ballad. Olivia's vocal performance here is stunning, perhaps the best on the whole album. And in this song, Olivia is at a point in this relationship where she's having to beg her boyfriend to meet the bare minimum of her needs. Well aware that it's not enough for her. She wants for him to only have eyes for her, needing him to make that crystal clear. So, okay, so I don't know how many of you were aware of this, but Olivia actually debuted the song on SNL when she hosted SNL this year. And I believe it was after she released the lead single Drop Dead. So this was the second track I believe that she shared with us. And the live performance was really moving, I have to say. So when I heard this track I didn't watch SNL, but I watched the performance online, and I was like, okay, I really need this song on streaming. I need to hear the studio version. And yeah, like this song is really strong. It's really like one of the top songs I would say on the album. Really sad. Like basically Olivia is saying that she's now at a point in the relationship where she has to beg her boyfriend for the bare minimum of what she needs out of it. And it's really sad to see because you should never have to beg your partner to satisfy your needs. Like your partner has to, like, obviously we can't read minds, but what I'm trying to say is that your partner should be more proactive with you. Like you shouldn't have to be like stating maybe the obvious, or you shouldn't have to be on your knees for something like so basic. So yeah, it's pretty unfortunate to see. Now, track number 10, What's Wrong With Me? So this marks Olivia's first ever collaboration on any of her 3 studio albums with The Cure frontman Robert Smith. I, for one, I was familiar with The Cure, but I wasn't familiar with any of its members. I wasn't even familiar with Robert Smith, but now that this was my introduction to him. So I had heard, as I'm saying, I had heard previously music from The Cure, but what I'm trying to say is that I didn't know the name of the frontman, of the lead vocalist. So this was my proper introduction to him. So, and this first impression was really strong for me. It was really, yeah, I was really impressed. And like for Olivia's first collaboration, she really did a smart, like a clever choice. Now, in this song, Olivia talks about how she's now not functioning properly, unable to eat or sleep properly. Sorry for the redundancy, and realize that her boyfriend is what's wrong with her. Olivia wonders if this relationship is even what she truly wants for herself to begin with. So, yeah, kind of a straightforward track. It's called What's Wrong With Me, and yeah, like Olivia is like she says in the song, like she even went to the doctor and the doctor said that she was fine. There was nothing wrong with her per se, but what was actually wrong with her was like deeper than that. It was something from the inside. So yeah, like she now realized that her boyfriend is like he's not good for her. So yeah, we're almost at the end of this love story. So let's see how this concludes, shall we? So okay, this is a pretty exciting one. Track number 11, Less, is I was gonna say the last, but no, it's my second to last standout from this album. A gorgeous piano ballad, quite possibly the saddest track on the album, and at least for me, is one of the strongest on the whole album as well. And in this song, Olivia is approaching the breaking point of the relationship as she finds herself sobbing and with her stomach in knots. She doesn't feel like talking and thinks that maybe by sleeping it off, the problem will fix itself the next day. But they both realize that hasn't really worked out. Olivia tells her boyfriend straight up that if loving her means letting go and wishing her the best, that she wishes he loved her less. So, okay, we've reached the most depressing track on the whole album, and no, I wasn't kidding when I said that this was an exciting one for me, because by exciting I mean like I had a lot to say about this track, because for me it was, ever since I listened to the album, like when it first came out, in order as a whole, this track, Less, has always been the one that I gravitated towards the most, you know? It's pretty depressing, but it's pretty beautiful at the same time, because it's like basically saying that, like in the case of the song, Olivia is now at a crossroads, and she's like, okay, she's sensing that the relationship is coming to its end. So she's like, okay, she's like telling this guy, like, if loving me as you say that you do means that you're letting me go and you're wishing me the best, and you're about to tell me that this is the end, as I'm sensing as well, then just love me less. Like, it will be less painful if you do that. So it is a pretty interesting, pretty fascinating even, this message, so this lyrical content. So yeah, I would say that this is like, for me, the peak of the album. But as you'll see in a bit, the closing track comes close to that, but at least for me, this is where the album plateaus. Now, track number 12, Expectations. As with My Way, the production can be a bit jarring at first, but with more listens, the listener may come around to it. And in this song, Olivia recounts how she met her now ex-boyfriend, reflecting on how things started off with her thinking he was perfect for her, versus now that she has blocked his number, not wanting to hear from him anymore. She's even more well aware now of her expectations when it comes to a relationship, having learned from this most recent one that unfortunately crashed and burned. Okay. So there's a lot that comes with the word expectations. In the case of the song, it's talking about, of course, expectations when it comes to a relationship. So now that Olivia is like, this relationship has just ended, she's now starting to reflect on, okay, like, what did I just live through? I'm not sure how long was this relationship was between Olivia and Louis, but it was kind of a long time. I think it was like, I want to say like, I don't know, like around 2 years. So it was a good time, like in the sense that, yeah, kind of a long time, I should say. But yeah, so she's like reflecting, and she's like, she doesn't want to have to do anything with him any longer. So she's like now single again, and she's like living that single life again. And yeah, she's like basically like leaving him in the past as rightfully where he belongs. And now she's trying to put that into perspective and learn from all those mistakes and everything that went down in this relationship, and try to apply it in the future so she can be more successful with relationships going forward. That's wishful thinking, but yeah, that's what she's trying to do here. And that brings us to the final track on this album, track number 13, Cigarette Smoke, the last of my highlights on the album. Now, Olivia slows things down once more as she wraps up the album. This is a strong closing track. Olivia also managed to end things off on a high note, vocally speaking. And in this song, Olivia goes deeper with the reflection phase of the breakup, comparing it to the lingering presence of cigarette smoke. Because, you know, like, I don't know, if you go to a club or if you're out and about, like went to a bar or something, and people were smoking around you, like obviously if you don't smoke as well, you're gonna be annoyed later on. Like then you're gonna get home and like your hair, your clothes, everything smells like smoke, cigarette smoke. So I find it interesting how Olivia is using that like analogy to like describe what, like how she's delving deeper into this reflection point of the relationship. Sorry, not of the relationship, of the post-relationship process. And she's regretting her ex and how long she stayed with him. She wishes that he could give her back the time she put into the relationship. But unfortunately, that's not how these things work. She thought that they were couple goals right up until he no longer wanted to do his part. She finds herself feeling lonely on some nights, but knows that it's much better than begging him to stand up for her. Referencing two tracks on the album, Honeybee and Becked. And finally, she wants her ex to tell her something brutally honest so her memories of the relationship darken, and that way she can let go of the bright side of it all. So pretty compelling song to end us off. It's called Cigarette Smoke. And so yeah, as I said, she used this like this metaphor of the cigarette smoke to express what, like where she's at, you know? Like she's now really like processing everything that went down in the relationship, and she's finding herself lonely on some nights, but at the same time, she knows that it's leaks better than begging this guy to like when she had to beg him to stand up for her and like to satisfy her basic needs in the relationship. So she realizes that she's much better off. Like obviously I can imagine that she misses him, but like she blocked his number and she's moving on, but also obviously like dealing with the withdrawals and everything of that sort. So, and yeah, like she just wants this guy to tell her something like straight up honest, transparent about what actually went down between the two of them, so that she can like the happy memories that she still has about this relationship, like that way those happy memories turn sour and she like can miss him less and like maybe even hate him less. So that would make things much easier. Now, that was the album. So overall, this is an outstanding pop album. Olivia managed to improve upon her previous album Guts, as this album shows more lyrical maturity and more variety in the production, which is already pretty consistent. This is a pretty well executed concept album, going from a love-heavy first half to a more emotionally charged second half. A stark contrast from the first two albums, as I said, that both have an overarching theme of heartbreak and hardship. And also, I want to add that, like as I said, that this album has more variety production-wise. I appreciate that also. There's there's an exploration of more genres like synth pop and also indie, because pop rock, yeah, like as I said at the beginning, pop rock is very synonymous with Olivia by now. Like songs like Ballad of a Homeschooled Girl and like Brutal, Bad Idea Right, those type of songs are pretty pop rock heavy. So I appreciate that she gave us something like more fresh this time around, but also like staying true to her core genre, which is pop rock, and not losing her essence, musically speaking. Now, when comparing this album to the rest of Olivia's discography, do I consider this to be her best album yet? I would say yes. Yes, this album is You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. This album is her strongest body of work yet. At first, to be truthful with you, after listening to this album the first time, I initially thought that Sour, her debut album, was still her strongest body of work. But after hearing the album more times, and especially like certain tracks of the album a lot of times by now, I let it marinate, and which is always something that we should do. We should let like music simmer a bit before, because your perspective changes. So before you make you can make strong you can have your strong stance of an album after the initial listen, but if you listen to it more times and the tracks more times, then your opinion can change. And that was what happened with me, because by now I enjoy this album more as a whole, more than I did the first time around. So yeah, and with this being said, so Sour is her second best album, and I would say, and in my opinion, Guts, her second album, it's her weakest album. I mean, I didn't have to use the air quotes, but weakest, but it's not bad. Like, just if you have to put something at the bottom, it's Guts, but Guts really gave us some bops, as the ones I mentioned. So yeah, like her 3 albums are pretty rock solid, all of them, in their own rights. Now, what score do I give this album? I give it a pretty strong 4.5 out of 5 stars. Okay, guys, so that was our review for You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love by Olivia Rodrigo. Before I go, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell if you're on YouTube. And please review us on your podcast streaming platform of choice, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, sorry. I'm not asking you, like, you don't have to give us 5 stars, only if we deserve it, but it would really help us out if it's 5 stars. But yes, like, just be honest and rate us as how we deserve it, as I'm saying. Now, also leave your comments on Spotify. I believe that's, like, aside from YouTube, I believe that Spotify is the only other platform that you can comment. So be sure to leave those, because we always want to strive for greater content, greater quality. So yeah, let us improve for you. And make sure to follow Pop and Bob on all social media. It's at Pop and Bob everywhere, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, everywhere. And yeah, guys, this has been Pop and Bob. I'm Emilio Fernandez, your host once again. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. See you.